Well, it would appear that there has been a bill that will end religious vaccinations exemptions. It now heads to the Senate, and this is specifically in, it looks like, Connecticut. So let's just get right into the bill. Let's read and see what's going on. The copy comes from the AP, and it was a couple of days ago, but I'm not sure if everybody is aware of this. So this bill is a contentious bill. It states that a contentious bill that would end Connecticut's longstanding religious exemption from immunization requirements for school beginning in the 2022 through the 2023 school year. Hello there, valiant effort, valiant one. So the 2022-2023 school year now awaits action in the Senate. The legislation passed on a 90-53 vote in the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives just before 3 a.m. on Tuesday, following more than 16 hours of sometimes combative debate. No date has been set for when the Senate, which is controlled by Democrats there, will vote on the same bill. The House vote marked the fullest the legislation has progressed in Connecticut, where lawmakers have debated the concept over the past several years. Some Republican opponents argued the bill was unnecessary, an overreach by the state government, and an attempt to impede religious liberties of potentially thousands of children. Yet mostly Democratic supporters said that it was a necessary step to prevent the future outbreaks of disease. So here's a quote. We've seen a slow and steady increase in exemptions from required childhood vaccinations, and we do not know when community immunity might be compromised. And that was the Democratic House Majority Leader, Jason Rojas of East Hartford, who compared the situation to the early days of the coronavirus pandemic, when far too many, this is a quote, far too many elected officials denied or acknowledged that there was a pandemic underway, end quote. He said any exemptions to the state's mandatory vaccination rules, quote, might be limited and based on science and the public health guidance. And that is why we are here today. So it must be limited and based on science and public health guidance. And that's why we're here today, Rojas says. About a half an hour before finally passing the bill, House members passed a Republican amendment that makes it clear that students who are now exempt from immunizations because of religious reasons to continue to be exempt if they transfer from a public school or a private school in Connecticut or another into a different district in the state. So it looks like they've got a bit of contention going on there in Connecticut. Let's hope that this ends well for all. Hello, Ronnie, how are you? And there is David Struck and Sherry B. Hello. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but it does appear that they have some stuff that's about to be rescinded, seeing how they, are basically led by one particular group. The story does continue. With that action came hours after another amendment was passed, grandfathering in any students with an existing religious exemption, beginning with kindergartners. The bill had originally grandfathered students in the 7th grade and higher with current exemptions, but some Republicans and Democrats raised concerns about how that would affect the education of those children, given the prospect they could be kicked out of school for not being vaccinated. Democratic Governor Ned Lamont reiterated Tuesday that he's prepared to sign the legislation into law if passed in the Senate. He says, quote, we saw there was a very strong vote in the legislature, which I consider to be in support of vaccinations and doing everything we can to encourage, in this case, students to get vaccinated, and obviously the necessary medical exemption, end quote, Lamont said. He says, he continues, and I think that it sends a strong signal, which I appreciate, getting vaccinated. Wow. Okay. This is Felicia Lockhart. The story did come from our news bag. One of our viewers sent this in. And if you are one of those individuals who do frequent the news bag, or you have information that you'd like to send to us, that you'd like to be presented on any of our platforms, you can do that by sending that link. Make sure that it is not a video, because we're not able to use videos. But if you do have a link that you want to use and it is a news link, I will verify it. This came from the AP, but I will run it at least once or twice. If I can find it somewhere else from another news source that's public, then, at least two, then I will go ahead and run it. You can send that to Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. I appreciate each and every one of you, and it's a very good thing to see you today. Do not forget that we are looking at Eros' love. Eros. Who was Eros? What did he do? How empty is that kind of love? And that's what we're going to be looking at today at 3 o'clock. You say overreaching, trying to impede on every right that made America exceptional. Well, Ronnie, I have to agree with you on that one. It seems like there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. And I don't know. They know over 40% don't want it. Can't wake up to a day without liberties going down the drain. Oh, yeah, Jody. What do? We just have to just keep praying, right? I mean, it's in that vein right now. It's just at that time where, we really do have to be hid in Christ as believers. This is a news brief, but as believers, we do have to make sure that we are hid and that we know exactly what time it is. Thank you so very much for being here. This is Felicia Lockhart, and this has been the Lockhart News Brief.